I thought it was really good. I thought it had some good depth. I thought he used his changeup pretty effectively as well. Big thing is he had command tonight, and he had command of his slider.
Do you think that had anything to do with him going on a regular rest, knowing the routine, knowing?
Yeah, I mean, these guys are creatures of habit, but sometimes you have to make adjustments, and you have off days that you have to adjust to. But as I said before, there's days he hasn't had his slider, and he's been on regular rest. So there is no answer to this. As much as you guys want one, there is no exact science.
Joe, late in the game, did you consider using Teixeira at all?
Nope. No, his neck's been bothering him a little bit. He's had a stiff neck, so I gave him the whole day, and hopefully he's okay. He's been battling it since Baltimore. It's nothing serious, just a stiff neck, so I gave him the day.
Was that something that he said to you he could really use a day, or you just kind of decided?
No, we talked during the last 4 or 5 days as he was going through it, and I said, I can give you, I talked about I could give you Sunday in Baltimore, I could give you Monday, Tuesday, and we just thought that this was the best day with the sleep and just being a tough turnaround, just to give him an off day.
A little bit of a high throw there, but McCann able to make the tag.
Yeah,
How difficult to play is
that? It's a good play by Brian, a quick tag, and thank goodness for a review.
Barry and Ron.
What do you do there with Pineda at 100 pitches if he's throwing a no-hitter?
Yeah, I was in a bad spot there. People questioned me pulling him out with 16 strikeouts, to go for the record, and I think he had 111 pitches. You can't let him go forever, so my guess, at some point, I would have had to really consider pulling him. How long? There's no answer to that either.
Ron.
In a way, did the fourth and fifth innings take you out of that spot because the pitch count was so high it was unrealistic for him to get to a complete game?
Well, what if he got 7 first pitch outs? I doubt that that's going to happen, but, it's possible, right?
Andrew?
Joe, in the pregame, you just said that Teixeira it was just a rest day. The stiff
Yeah.
neck, do you think tomorrow he'll be able to go? Or
My hope is yes. He felt like that a day off would really help, and I'll wait to see when he comes in tomorrow.
Ron and Dan.
With the way he was swinging, line drive up the middle, soft single up the middle, does it look A-Rod is relaxed and thinking about getting this over at home?
Well, I hope he gets it over with tomorrow, so he doesn't have to answer questions and he can move on. But it didn't seem to bother him tonight. I thought he was patient. I didn't think he went out of his zone tonight. I thought he had a good plan at the plate, so we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Joe, did you get a chance to look at the replay before you challenged it, or since on the?
I did after, yeah.
Did you?
I thought his foot was above the base. I thought he tagged him and his foot was above the base.
Joe,
you were the catcher in '96 when Cone came back and had 7 no-hit innings, and Joe Torre thought about the big picture that day. Did that go into you? Have you thought back to that, and did you think back to it tonight?
Oh, of course. I didn't think back to Coney's game, but I definitely thought about big picture and what we have in this guy, and we have a healthy Michael Pineda, and we have to keep him healthy. I don't think it's a situation where you can let a guy throw 130, 140 pitches. Not in this situation. And I'd hate it would be extremely difficult for me, and I would feel bad. But sometimes, as a manager, you have to protect players from themselves.
Art.
You talk about no exact science. Does that apply in terms of what you're trying to do as far as limiting his innings? You're not really sure. You're just trying to protect him in some form, right?
Yeah, well, we know that since, 2011 he threw 170 innings, or 2012, whatever it was. He really had, and that was his biggest output. So, he's never been a guy that's thrown 200 innings. He didn't throw a ton of innings last year. Research shows you that major increases hurt players, and that's what I really have to manage, and it's not something that you ever want to skip a start or you want to pull him early, but for the long term, his long-term health for this season and seasons to come, you have to do it.
Dave.
Joe, can you ever go by a conversation when you have with the pitcher at that point, or they just won't tell you the truth in those situations? When you ask how they're feeling, if you're maybe on the fence to give them another inning or not?
I mean, I'm sure there's some pitchers that would tell you the truth, but I never had to get to that point, so thank goodness.
Joel.
Is there a moment in this game where you see the pitch count, you see the no hits, and you begin to think, am I really going to have to make this decision today? And do you say it to anyone like Larry Rothschild, what am I going to do here, or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was after 5. I noticed he was at about 77, 78 pitches. And I think his high mark might be 111 this year. I didn't say anything to Larry, but I kind of gave him a glance after the 6th, and he kind of glanced back at me, knowing that this could be a really tough decision, and it's not one that you want to make, but it's probably one you have to.
Yep.
Joe, I think this is the same lineup out of the bullpen as it was Sunday, kind of a similar game. Are these the 3 guys you trust the most?
Well, I've said Shreve's my 7th, Wilson's my 8th, and Dellen's my 9th. That's what it is right now, and we'll continue to go with that.
Dan.
As good as Dellen has been over the last year and a half, a night like tonight, does he prove something else to you, that he's able to close out a 5-out save in that kind of situation?
No. He's pretty much cleared all the hurdles that we need to see. That's why I brought him in there in that situation. And I think I learned a lot about him last year when I brought him into a Mets game in the bottom of the 5th, and I needed a strikeout, and that's who I went to. And tonight I was looking for a strikeout. We got a weak ground ball to the first baseman. So no, he doesn't really need to show me anything else.
And when the ball goes to Jones in that situation instead of Teixeira, do you?
I was confident. I thought Hetch the base runner kind of hesitated, which made him hesitate a little bit, which almost cost, maybe cost them, and it almost cost us. So, I had confidence. Jonesy's played a lot of first base, so I felt good about him making that play.
Barry.
Joe, with the 5-out save, does that take Betances out of tomorrow?
I'll see how he feels tomorrow. He has not been worked a lot. He did not throw a ton of pitches tonight. It's not like he threw 35 pitches or anything like that, so I'll see how he feels.